Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte. Guys, we are taking a look today at your Dallas Stars as we continue our lineup prediction series here for the 2021-2022 opening night roster for the Dallas Stars. We'll be taking a look at that right now. So, looking at the top six forward group for your Dallas Stars this season, the big question is injuries and health. I think that's really prominent on the second line in particular, but this is going to be a big change for the Dallas Stars, and maybe not what we were expecting. So, your top line, you have Roope Hintz, Joe Pavelski, and Jason Robertson. I actually agree that this will be the top line for the Dallas Stars. And the reason I say that, well, this is according to Daily Faceoff, and I'm agreeing with them because I think what we saw from Hintz and Robertson last year, this is the future winger group of the Dallas Stars. I think those guys have shown enough that they have the potential to be that next it factor for the Dallas Stars. And for a team that back in 2019 went to the Stanley Cup final, they had a huge fall from grace last season, actually missing the playoffs after going to the final against Tampa Bay and losing in 6 games. So, definitely an interesting spot here. The second line is the injury line. That's what we're calling it. Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, and Alexander Radulov. Now, out of those three guys, the most optimistic guy I have here is Tyler Seguin. We've been hearing a lot of positive things about Tyler Seguin this summer and going into training camp. The vibe seems to be pretty much the same, is that he had a lot of issues last season with COVID, with injuries at the beginning of the season. It seems like he is 100% healthy and ready to go. If you look at his physique, he has the physique to get himself back into healthy condition, and it looks like we are going to see a healthy 100% Tyler Seguin this year. So, very exciting news there. And like I said, though, there's a little bit more of what do we got with Jamie Benn and Radulov? Radulov missed a prominent amount of last season, and he just had injury issues. That was his big problem. And even when he was in the lineup, he did have some consistency issues. Jamie Benn, on the other hand, had a renaissance season last year, really turning things around for the most part. But that was because a large contribution to the guys he was playing with, like some of those guys on that top line, Hintz, Pavelski, and Robertson, kind of helping him out. And maybe some minutes being gained because of guys like Radulov and Seguin just not being in the lineup. So looking at the bottom six, it's pretty interesting looking at this group. So you got Joel Kiviranta, Radek Faksa, and Denis Gurianov. A lot of these guys are going to feature in the top six in the very near future because you got guys like Pavelski, Radulov, and Benn. I don't know how much their future is with the Dallas Stars. That's when you may be relying guys on Kiviranta and Gurianov to maybe jump into that top six and maybe even see Radek Faksa develop into what they hoped he could be, which is a top six power forward, two-way forward center. That's really what they're hoping from Faksa, and that's what they're paying him to be. He just hasn't gotten there yet. That's the only real issue. So for the most part, I do like their third line. As long as they stay on the third line, I do like that group. The fourth line, we see a couple of changes, a couple of locker room guys. You got Michael Raffl and Luke Glendening coming in. I really like some of those guys. They're veteran guys that come into the room. They have a lot of experience in the league. And you also have Blake Como, who absolutely fits that role as well. He's actually on the board up here. So, Blake Como, huge fan. Now, looking at the depth, the Dallas Stars have a little bit more depth going into training camp this year. They're going to have a lot of guys fighting for really some of those bottom six roles. You have guys like Tanner Kero, Rhett Gardner, Ty Failhaber, and Riley Tufte. The latter of those four, Failhaber and Tufte, first round picks. So those are guys that they do see a lot of potential in. And if not, the Texas Stars are going to be a good team this year. I see it with some of the depth they have. I really like what Jim Nill and the Dallas Stars did this summer. They just loaded up on depth. They didn't get those, sexy big names. Actually, they did on the blue line, but I think for the most part, they made depth moves and just keeping guys around like Heiskanen and hopefully Klingberg in the near future to keep them long term. So that's really what this summer was about for the Dallas Stars. And looking at that defense, talking about their sexy pick, it was Ryan Suter. Ryan Suter will now probably be the first pairing defenseman with Miro Heiskanen. Now, I could see Suter or Lindell taking that spot. I think these are pretty interchangeable. But Heiskanen and Klingberg on the right side, Suter and Lindell on the left side for that top four in any which order. But that is my most confident look with where they're at right now. But you could argue either way for any of those two to be in either spot. But I do like Ryan Suter coming in. He is going to be... I've been saying this all summer. Watch out for Ryan Suter this year. I think he is due for a really good season this year. I don't know how good long-term Ryan Suter is going to be for the latter part of that deal. But Ryan Suter this season, to prove everyone wrong about what happened last year and getting bought out by Bill Guerin, he's definitely got a fire under his ass. And I would definitely expect Suter to come out ablazing this season. Now, your third pairing, you got Andrej Sekera coming back and Jani Hakanpää. Now, Jani Hakanpää spent the beginning of the season last year with the Anaheim Ducks. Definitely had some growing pains last season in Anaheim. Ended up getting traded to the Hurricanes at the deadline, and he wasn't able to really make that big of an impact in Carolina. He was just a depth signing. The Canes had really good depth on the back end, and he just ended up being an extra guy on a playoff run. But I think he's more than that. I really like Jani Hakanpää. I think that was a great signing. And, as you have some of these younger prospects coming up, there are some questions about who's going to stay, who's going to go. But I think Jani Hakanpää is a good, stable third-pairing defenseman. He's difficult to play against. He's not going to put a ton of points up for you, but he's going to be a good, reliable depth guy. Now, looking at some of the depth on their defensive side, you have guys like Andreas Borgman, Thomas Hanley, and Thomas Harley. So I think some of these names are Joe Hanley. Is it Joe Hanley and Thomas Harley? First-round pick there in Thomas Harley. So it's going to be tough for him to crack this. I would say he'd have to be a top four defenseman. He may make a case for himself with guys like Sekera and Hakanpää on that third pairing. But Thomas Harley, I'm expecting good things from. I'm really excited to see what he can be at the next level. I know there's been a bit of an adjustment for him. Again, with that first-rounder tag, you're going to have there's going to be high expectations of you. But I think for the most part, Thomas Harley's been able to stay kind of low in the weeds with guys like Heiskanen, Klingberg, and Lindell coming up. It's definitely eased off the pressure on him. With that said, looking at the goaltending actually got an upgrade this summer. So you have Anton Khudobin, and we are going to not see Ben Bishop, at least in the beginning of this season, and potentially all of the 2021-2022 NHL season because of injuries. He's really struggled with the injury bug, Big Ben Bishop. So I love Bishop, but he has really struggled in Dallas staying healthy. He's a big guy, big frame, and those just aren't built to last. And unfortunately, we're seeing that right now. Now, the good news is the Vancouver Canucks bought out goaltender Braden Holtby, and within a week, he found a new home in Dallas with the Dallas Stars. So a goaltender that's really been bouncing around the league, he needs to find some stability in Dallas, and it may be hard for him he's not looking for the stability yet. I think next year he's looking for the stability, but this is kind of Holtby's last shot. His final year in Washington, got beat out of the starting job from guys like Ilya Samsonov and even Philip Grubauer when Grubauer was there. He got beat out of Vancouver to Thatcher Demko. I just don't necessarily know what's going to happen with Holtby. So he needs to find it this year. This is a huge season for him. In terms of what he's going to be in his mid-30s, is he going to be a waiver wire goaltender, a third goaltender in the AHL? Or is he going to become that starting goaltender that we hoped he would be? Or does he just become a decent 1B backup? I mean, that's kind of what it's looking like right now. But he's going to have an opportunity in Dallas this year. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Dallas Stars? What do you think of their lineup this year? Do you think they can have a bounce-back season? Maybe get back into the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2021? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey. We want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.